roll call?
Yes, sir. Ms. Baker. Mr. Cox. Mr. Dominic. Mr. Epperson. Mr. Escabay. Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Lynn. Ms. Lynch. Ms. McCullough. Mr. Pearson. Mr. Smith. Mr. Thibodeau. Have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. As Mr. Thibodeau leads in prayer, Commissioner Cox in prayer.
Lord, we ask you to bless those who are hurting today. We ask you to give the folks down in South Louisiana the wisdom to be able to clean up that mess and to stop the oil leak. We ask you to do all these things in your Son's name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any agenda additions at this time from anyone? Being none, no special resolutions, communications. Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir. We just have a quick legislative update from Mr. Grubbs.
Your hand, Forrest.
Yeah, I've got a couple items for you. Commissioners, I just want to mention there was action today on two bills that we talked about on Monday, and I just want to keep y'all up to date. The House Bill 1404 was the tax exemption bill on pharmaceuticals that we talked about on Monday. That bill was defeated today in the House, 44 for, 45 against. And I'd just like to point out to you that with one exception, the entire Caddo and Bossier delegation voted with local government, as they've more or less done the whole session. I mean, our delegation is really friendly to the concerns of local government. I'd just like to point that out. Also, I think it's House Bill 676, I think it is, the one that had to do with financial disclosure for certain employees of local government, was defeated today in a Senate committee with the Caddo representative in the committee, Senator Jackson, helped defeat it.
You have anything else?
So just a reminder that tomorrow, the governmental meeting tomorrow starts at 11:30 to 1 at the Independence City Skybox.
Very good. Thank you.
That's it, sir.
Any other communication reports? I have one. Just Commissioner Smith gave me some interesting information. In case you hadn't seen it, it was about tax collections through May, and we saw a little downturn in January and February, and uptick in March, April, May. But anyway, we're up 1.5% in our sales tax collections for the year to date, or through May, that is. And I want to mention that because considering everything else that's going on, the non-recovery happening in the rest of the country, I think we're very fortunate. So I'll make note of that. Next, we have comments from the citizens. I'll call you up by name. Anyone else who wishes to address the commission on any matter other than zoning, please fill out a card with somebody on the end of the up here, and you have a communicator or report?
I have a question.
You have a question? Okay, what's the question?
Mr. Wilson, did we ever get it cleared up on we talked about this a couple months ago, the assessment of rigs and equipment out in the field that we were going to talk to the tax assessor because evidently there was not any taxes collected on that. Did that ever get taken care of?
Yes, sir, we did.
I was there.
Go ahead. Okay, you
We met with the tax assessor, and it just simply was a difference in how one entity classified theirs and how Caddo Parish classified theirs. Those items are being taxed. They just weren't. They were coded or categorized in a different area than what the other taxing body that we were comparing it to. So, based on the information that we were provided, they have been taxing those particular types of items.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jefferson.
Ms. Brown, what was in that oil and gas fund?
Yes, sir. It is $17.6 million, considering the transfer to the Reserve Trust Fund.
To what now?
The transfer that's being made to the reserve trust fund, considering that the balance is 17.6 million.
That's including the last, lease here we got, what was 40-some thousand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, I have one more question for Ms. Bryant. Ms. Bryant, the tax assessor codes these type of oil-related assets differently?
Yes.
That's why we didn't pick up. Are you convinced of that? Did you see proof of that?
He provided us documents that showed where those items were being included on our assessments.
Very good. Thank you. Well, what is that, last administration, trust would verify?
Yes. All right, being no other, we have Miss Mary Maddox. Please come forward, state your name and address. Maddox, I'm sorry. Looks like an M to me. Sorry about that.
My name is Mary Haddix, and my address is 203 South Spruce, Vivian, Louisiana. I'm here representing the Caddo Citizen and the Shreveport Sun. It's again that time of year where you guys have to decide who's going to serve as your legal journal for the upcoming year. And I just wanted to point out that I was here to answer any questions when it's time for you to decide that on your agenda. We're also bringing the lower bid again this year. We have an exclusive agreement with the Sun. We offer the same free subscriptions, uploading your legals to the internet, and no charge on the proof of publications, just everything stays as it is. Just if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them when you get to that place. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions this time? Thank you very much. All right, Pete Sam Miller.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Pete Zandmiller, President and Publisher of The Times, located at 222 Lake Street, downtown Shreveport, 71101. I'm also here to speak about the official journal designation, and again, like similar to last year, we are interested in being the official journal for the Commission, and really the issue is transparency and getting out to as many people as possible. That's the purpose of publishing the official journal, Legals in print media, is to get them out to the public. And I think both the publications, the Citizen and the Sun, are absolutely outstanding publications and do very well for the community. My issue with it is the reach that they have. Combined, they have a paid circulation of about 4,100 copies. 4,200 copies is their paid circulation as reported to the United States Post Office. That's about 1/10 of the subscriptions that the Times has. So although their rates are about 10% lower than the Times, their distribution is 20% lower than the Times. We also are a daily publication as opposed to a weekly, so it makes doing business easier. It allows you to get your legal notices in a timely fashion, so you can do the business that you need to do and get the communication out to the public in a timely manner. My guess is several of the bid processes, you're now reaching people that could give you competitive bids because you just don't have the reach, or they're not looking at the Sun and the Citizen. So I encourage you to give serious consideration to the Times. What we offer is ease of doing business, timeliness, and the distribution that can help you reach the masses of your constituents. You know, if it is truly a price issue, we did not include this in the bid, but you know, we have a community weekly that is part of the Times on a weekly basis in just one part of Caddo Parish that we'd be more than happy to bid on that. It's 10,000 copies, and you know, we could come in at a much lower rate, but that's not the right thing to do. Really, the object of legal notices is to reach as many people as you can within the parish to get the word out about the good things that you guys are doing. So we also produce or publish all legals on the website. That's both our website, which is the largest website in the parish, and on the LPA's website, which is a statewide posting. We also do the affidavits at no cost. So I think we are competitive when you look at the reach that we have, and I hope you'll take that into consideration when the time comes to vote. So be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Zandmiller? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Any other citizens wishing to address the commission? If not, we'll move to public hearing on ordinances, please.
Yes, sir, you have ordinance 4982, such the parish millage on outstanding parish bond issues.
Is anyone here to address the commission in favor of this ordinance? Is there anyone here who would like to speak in opposition? Next item, please.
Ordinance 4983 adopts the values fixed by the Louisiana Tax Commission on assessment for railways and other public service corporations.
Anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone in opposition? Thank you.
Ordinance 4984 sets a general purpose millage and special purpose millages.
Anyone like to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone opposed? Okay.
Ordinance 4985 sets the assessment on property classified as timberlands.
Anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone in opposition? Next item, please.
Ordinance 4987 amends the criminal justice fund budget in the amount of $30,000 for jail expansion study.
Anyone here like to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone in opposition? Next, please.
Ordinance 4988 amends the general fund budget in the amount of $20,000 to obtain professional service for redistricting plan in conjunction with the 2010 census.
Anyone here like to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone in opposition? Continue, please.
Ordinance 4989 authorizes the administrator to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the village of Gillum concerning recreational services.
Anyone here to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone opposed? Continue, please.
Ordinance 4990 revokes dedication of Cravens Street in Duke's Estate.
Anyone here like to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone to speak in opposition? Next item, please.
Ordinance 4991 revokes dedication of a portion of Kingwood Drive in Northwood Terrace subdivision.
Anyone here like to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone here to speak against it? Please continue.
Ordinance 4992 revokes the dedication of a portion of Northwood Drive located in Northwood Terrace subdivision.
Anyone here to speak in favor of this ordinance? Anyone opposed? Very well.
So that concludes the public hearing on those ordinances, and now we go right back through them for final consideration. Ordinance 4982 sets your parish villages or on the parish bond issues.
It'll be moved by Commissioner Caddo, seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Is there any discussion on this ordinance? Please vote.
Just a moment. Okay.
That passes. Next ordinance, please.
Ordinance 4983 adopts your tax assessment, tax commission assessments on railways and public service corporations.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Lynn, seconded by Commissioner Cox. Would anyone like to speak? Commissioner Thibodeau? Not to go though, we can't, we don't do ordinances, but
The ones that we just read, we have done them in the past.
is traditionally we done on final passage, and I prefer not to. So let's go through this. We're going to have some questions.
These are the millage ordinances.
Please continue, Mr. Speed. Any more discussion on this ordinance? Let's vote, please. Next item, please. That passes?
Yes, ordinance 4984 sets your general purpose and special purpose millages.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Dominic. Seconded by the chair. Any discussion on the ordinance? Vote, please. That passes. Next ordinance.
Ordinance 4985 sets your timberlands assessments.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Thibodeau, seconded by Commissioner Smith. Any discussion on this? Vote, please. That passes. Next item.
Ordinance 4987 amends your criminal justice fund budget to pay for jail expansion study.
So moved. Seconded by Commissioner Lynn, seconded by Commissioner Dominic. Any discussion? Vote, please. Passes. Next item.
Ordinance 4988 amends your general fund budget $20,000 for professional services and redistricting for the census.
So moved. Second. Moved by Commissioner Lynn, seconded by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion? No question. This is to contract Mr. Joyner's services?
That's correct.
Very good. Anyone else? Vote please. It passes. Next item.
Ordinance 3989 authorizes the administrator to work with the Village of Gillett on recreational services.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Dominic. Seconded by Commissioner Cox. Would you like to comment? Anything to say? No.
Welcome this time.
Do you have anything to say?
No, sir.
Ms. Baker.
I just kind of wanted a refreshment on what we were doing here.
Well, in our budget, which we've already voted for, we have some funds that are set for community parks. It was something that came out of our master plan, parks master plan that we did several years ago. We have, a year or two ago, we gave some to Vivian. Last year we did one for Ida, which was really nice. Ida loves their park edition that they have. They didn't have a park before. Gillett has a little park with just some playground equipment, but it's my understanding the soil or the sand is not what it's really supposed to be, and they're wanting to put one of these soft mats where kids can play and not get harmed. And they're also going to put up an historical sign that talks about the history of the area and what has gone on over the years through Gillett, and it's $10,000 is what it is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other discussion on the ordinance? Not, please vote. Thank you. That passes. Next item.
Ordinance 3990 revokes dedication of Kravitz Street.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Dominic, seconded by Commissioner Thibodeau. Any discussion on the motion? Please vote. That passes. Next item, please.
Ordinance 4991 revokes dedication of portion of Kingwood Drive.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Dominic, seconded by Commissioner Thibodeau. Any discussion on the ordinance? Please vote. That passes. Next item, please.
Ordinance 4992 revokes dedication of a portion of Northwood Drive.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Dominic, seconded by Commissioner Thibodeau. Any discussion on this ordinance?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Mr. Jenkins.
In connection with all three, which I'm going to support, I received, I believe, an email with an Attorney General's opinion about revoking the dedication of property, and the fact that the mineral rights also went to the adjacent landowners. And there was a 2002 opinion. I mean, is that the current state of the law? I guess what my concern here is why is there a distinction here with adjudicated property? If we sell or donate some kind of adjudicated property, we have a right to keep the mineral rights. But with the revocation of a dedication, we don't. And I thought that there was some current law that came out that talked about, I don't know if it's a state statute or something, about alienating, parish properties. And I'm just trying to, two things I really want to know. Is it that 2002 opinion still the current state of the law?
Yes, sir.
Why is there a distinction, or do you know?
Just based on my general research in this area, Commissioner Jenkins, the dedications that we get are only ours in fee as long as we hold them for the public.
I'm sorry, say it again now.
We only have fee titles to those dedications as long as we hold them for the public. There is a statute that states once we decide that they're no longer needed for public use, those dedications revert back to the original owners or whomever owns the property now. And that's by operation of law, state statute, which is why the mineral rights do not, we can't reserve those. When it comes to the adjudicated property, we take a tax interest and are able to sell a fee title to that. It's not just dedicated to us as long as we are using it for public use. So we kind of, I guess you would say, own it in our capacity as a private entity.
so to speak?
But now, when the property is dedicated, and is this done pursuant to like a state statute?
Yes.
So that state statute could be looked at to the extent of saying if the property, if there's a revocation of that property, that the parish could keep the mineral rights. That statute would have to be amended in some form?
That statute would have to be amended to allow that. And I'm not certain about this, it may take a constitutional amendment as well, because I believe there's some reference to that particular item in the state constitution.
And just like the lawyer, you know, if I said it was two questions, that was a third somewhere there, right? What is going on here? Why, is this just a coincidence that we are having multiple revocations of dedications up here in District 1?
Now that I cannot speak to.
Do you have any idea, Mr. Dominique,
A little bit. I think Mr. Whittington can give you a better update on it. I've spoken to him about it. It's my understanding that these are dedicated to the parish years ago, that when a proposed subdivision was being built, but there's never been any roads, there's not even been a gravel road, there's not been a blacktop or anything, it's just wooded area. Jimmy, could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, with regard to Caddo, that is just a little stub street that at the time this subdivision was platted, the parish ordinance even required that every 800 feet, the subdeveloper had to put in a stub street for future development. So this was just a stub street that runs between two lots, the length of those two lots. There's no road there, it's total woods, and the adjoining landowners just want to take it as, you know, it runs between their property.
So they all just woke up one morning and decided at the same time that they wanted to have these dedications revoked? I mean, this is like three different locations.
Well, now, but I was going to say that the other two, Northwood and Kingwood, they are in the same subdivision. I just put them on two separate ordinances because it's two separate road names, but they are two separate roads that run parallel to each other on the subdivision plat. Again, there's no road there. We're just talking about a dedication. And the gentleman that is requesting that a portion of those two roads be, or dedications be revoked, he owns probably 20 lots at the very north end of this subdivision, which you can't get to it except on foot. I mean, the roads are not built at all, and he's just requesting, I don't know what he intends to do at a later date, but whether he's going to re-subdivide them or what, but he just wants the road to disappear, the dedication. Because it runs in between all of his lots, that portion.
Well, I'm going to support it. I don't have any reason not to. I just thought it was interesting that we have several of these coming up all at the same time.
The parties are not connected as far as I know.
And then, you know, I just feel like there's some inequities, Ms. Frazier, with, and I mean, I'm saying your name, but of course, you're not responsible for it. It just seems like it's inequitable to me that we're basically giving property to someone and the mineral rights, just basically giving it to them. And then, on the other hand, we're asking them to buy property at a tax sale, and we want to keep the mineral rights. I want to keep all the mineral rights, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, it just seems like it's something a little inequitable about that to me. You know, I'd like to see a little more research on that if we can, too, Mr. Grove, about that statute and how it's set up, and does it actually take and I don't doubt it's been said, does it actually take a constitutional amendment to address that issue? Is it something that the legislature can do to address that issue? Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Whittington, don't go anywhere. Anyone else have any questions on this? Just, Mr. Jenkins has brought some interesting points. I just want to clarify for my own benefit. The gist of what I get is when a subdivision is platted and approved, they're not giving up this property voluntarily. We generally require that they give this property up.
At that time, we did.
At that time, we required them, we wanted to have a piece of property in case the necessity for a road goes in there. So they didn't willingly give this up. So basically, they wanted to get use of their property back since there's no road. I understand that now. It's not like someone bought, a piece of property they didn't pay their taxes on and then willingly chose not to pay the property tax. It's a little bit, I understand a little clearer, and I understand Mr. Jenkins' concerns. Normally, one would have to think right off the bat that this would have something to do with the Haynesville shale play, but by virtue of location of these three particularly, that's out of the play. So I really don't think the owner or mineral rights are even a factor in these owners' decisions in wanting use of their property back because it's just not there. But I see your concerns, Mr. Jenkins, but in this case, these were old platted subdivisions that, as I understand it, the developers had no choice but to grant the public use of that land, or they weren't going to get approval of their subdivision at the time. Okay, so basically, the parish have a gun to their head saying you got to do it if you want to do this, and now we have no use for it, and they have a use for it. And there's no mineral activity. Not up there. Right, okay. But still, it's an interesting point you bring up, Commissioner Jenkins. Anyone else? All right, let's vote, please. That passes. All right, let's move along, please.
Yes, sir. You have one zoning ordinance for introduction. That's zoning case P4, ordinance 4997. Harold Whitlock's the applicant requesting rezone property east side of Mansfield Road, Keith and Kingston Road from B3 to I1 for proposed light industry use. Next, you have regular ordinances for introduction. Ordinance 4993, amend your oil and gas and capital outlay fund budget in the amount of $221,000 to operate and equip the new commercial vehicle enforcement unit. Ordinance 4994, amend your public works and capital outlay fund budgets in the amount of $150,000 to replace the cross drain on Gillum Scott Slough Road. Ordinance 4995, amend your capital outlay fund budget for stimulus grant proceeds in the amount of $800,000 to upgrade Boulevard Road. And ordinance 4996, declare certain adjudicating properties and authorize sale with tax interest therein.
Thank you, Mr. Spears. Need a motion to ratify the work session minutes of June 1 and May 17th. So moved. Moved by Commissioner Cox. Second. Second by Commissioner Epperson. Any discussion on the motion? Please vote. There we go. Next item, please.
Resolution 32 approves holding of an election in Fire District Number 6 for a special tax.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Cox, seconded by Commissioner Smith. Any discussion on the resolution? Please vote. All right, that passes. Next item.
Resolution 34 authorizes the administrator to retain special legal counsel.
So moved. Second. Moved by Commissioner Dominic, seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Any discussion on this motion? Vote, please.
Sorry, I was too quick.
You were too quick. Vote again, please.
Okay.
That passes. Next item, please.
Resolution 35 supports appointment of Caddo Parish commissioners to subcommittees of NACO.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Baker, seconded by Commissioner Epperson. Any discussion? And seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. Any discussion on the motion? Vote, please. That passes. Next item.
No old business on the agenda, new business. There's to select your official journal for the fiscal year beginning July 1.
I move that Caddo Citizens Shreveport Psalm be the official journal for the 2010-2011 period.
The Citizen Sun's been moved by Commissioner Dominic, seconded by Commissioner Epperson. Any discussion on that motion? Mr. Cox?
I'd like to make a motion to have the Shreveport Times as our official journal.
Second. Okay, that's been moved by Commissioner Cox to accept the Times proposal, seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Any discussion on that motion?
Briefly, we try to reach out as many homes as we can. The Times has always had that ability. I see no difference between stopping it, or we need this type of journal to get our word out, our message out. We need notices out on time. We don't need to hold up on notices because of a glitch. I support the Times 100%, I always have, and I would ask the commissioners to back me on this. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, this is our procedure. We will go on the second motion first. We'll vote on all of those wanting to vote to accept the Shreveport Times proposal. Vote yes. For vote. let's go 5 votes, basically, that's not,
You didn't have to vote no.
you didn't have to vote no. Okay? So, okay, that fails. Next, we'll vote on Commissioner Dominic's motion to accept the bid of the citizen. All those wanting to accept that bid, vote yes. 5, that fails. Okay. This time we're on Mr. Glover, are we?
State law requires the commission to make this decision at its first meeting in June, so we seem to be at an impasse.
We did.
Now somebody change their vote?
And what should happen if we follow the lead of the legislature so many times and just go ahead and be derelict in our duty today and deal with it another day? Just a question, I mean, we seem to always obey the law.
You didn't have to put it so blunt.
Mr. President, you don't expect your lawyer to take something to avoid the law.
I'd like to be given any advice without the fee being negotiated first, Mr. Ross. I'm just kidding you.
Don't we forgot to.
Mr. Epperson, I'm sorry, Mr. Dominic first.
Is there there is no statute that specifically says that if we don't, if we didn't select a journal today, and since Caddo Citizen is our journal, would they automatically continue? I know of no statute.
The Citizen is your official journal through June 30th, 2010. So although you're required by law to do this today, you do have a short house, obviously. Perhaps one option the commission would have would be to, if you delayed this till next time on the argument that with 100% of attendance of the commission, the impasse might be breached. I mean, there's a rational basis for doing that, and you wouldn't have an interruption of what you cannot do is have an interruption of having an official journal. All I can tell you is the statute imposes this obligation at your first meeting of the month. A lot of public bodies have only one meeting a month, so you would technically be in violation of the law if you didn't do this today, but I don't think you would have a substantive problem as long as you selected an official journal in time for either one of these proposers to be in place by July 1st.
Okay.
I'm sitting here thinking.
You're sitting here thinking? You need a little while more to think, or?
You know how Commissioner Jenkins, Lawyer Jenkins, I am. We like to think and take our time sometimes. I guess you could continue this meeting.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a precedent that the commission did just that because of this impasse, sometime in the past, someone told me this, the commission, at the conclusion of its agenda, simply recessed the meeting to be held
At our next meeting?
No. You could recess it to be continued. That's probably the thing to do, Commissioner Dominic. That's a good idea. That way.
See, what I was thinking, could we, recess it or could just continue it till our next meeting? You say that we technically would not be in violation.
That's right. You could recess this meeting to reconvene at 3 p.m. In advance of your 3:30 meeting 2 weeks from today. That's one option.
Or leave it to an attorney to figure that out. It took 3 hours. One, myself, and
Mr. Dominic finished?
I am right now.
Thank you. Commissioner Epperson?
I'd like to make a motion that this meeting be reconvened at 3 p.m. prior to our next scheduled commission meeting.
It's been moved that this meeting be continued at 3 p.m. on our next regular meeting date. Seconded by Ms. Baker. Is there any discussion on that motion?
Yes, sir.
Hold it. You made the motion, you'd like to speak?
Okay, I think we gave consideration to a technicality that occurred by allowing the Times to even entertain their offer. So therefore, I think this would be the right thing to do at this point in time due to the amount of absenteeism absenteeism that we have here today, to give us a better and more clear, definitive measure of electing in some majority for whichever one that we so chose. I think it would be the right thing to do. We gave one deal an option. I don't think it would be illegal. And since I've been here, it's always been July 1 through the 30th of June, so therefore we still have an official journal in place. And you might want to look at the scenario, what in the event that an emergency occurred, whereas we could not meet and make that official journal. I think we would be allowed to continue in whatever means necessary to get the word out. So I ask for your support on that measure. Thank you.
Ms. Baker is the second. Do you wish to speak?
No, sir, he said what I want to say.
Commissioner Thibodeau?
If we continue the meeting, then we would not deal with the last item on the agenda, is that correct?
No, I think we're just going to continue this item.
Or we're just continuing the item, or we're continuing the meeting?
Well, instead of the meeting, but the one item, I think we can do that.
Mr. Webb?
His point is, can we finish our business?
Yes, sir, I think you would finish your
Okay.
business, and then under the motion, you would recess this meeting to be reconvened at the 2 weeks from now.
All right. Commissioner Jenkins?
My question's been answered.
Okay, I concur with Commissioner Epperson. I did know, and you know, you hadn't seen your emails today, that legal had faxed or sent us an email today regarding, and what we did Monday by accepting the tardy bid of the Times, basically, I don't know, was a formality. As I appreciate it now, based on the information we got from the legal department, is that the law does not require this particular item to even go out for bid. It can be selected by the body. It doesn't have to go out for competitive bid as long as the official journal is within the parish of Caddo. Is that not the crux of what was sent to us?
That's correct, Mr. President, and the best example or evidence of that is the fact that each year y'all have this debate after the bids are received as to which official journal to select. If it had to be selected on the basis of price alone, on the basis of the bid, you wouldn't have the debate.
Right, but what I'm saying is actually, the deadline doesn't mean anything, because if all of a sudden that some member of this body wanted to recommend the firm, they could very well do that even though they did not submit a bid. Is that not correct?
Correct.
Okay. Commissioner Epperson?
No, I just want to state, I received the email, and I understood that explicitly, so that's not an issue. But however, we have to look at, too, whether we're getting factual information in time for us to make a decision by every member of this body. Now, I think I got that sometime this morning, after later in the day. So I think here and again, we're doing the right thing, because everyone is having an opportunity to see the late information that was disseminated. Here we got two issues that arose recently. Number one, about the situation with the tardy bid or whatever it is. But the thing is, that's the procedure that we followed all these years. Now we're getting legal technicalities that we should have been followed. What we need to do is get all of this laid out and the proper procedures and the policies in place to make sure we can make a good decision without these little caveats coming into place initially, and make this thing the issue that it is. So I ask that you vote for that measure and we continue and finish today. Thank you.
Okay. Let's vote that we're in agreement that we will recess this meeting at the conclusion of our business and take this matter up at 3 o'clock on our next meeting day. Okay, that's what we're voting on now. Please vote. Okay, everybody's on board with that. Last item, please.
Authorize preparation of an ordinance for an election to contribute $5,000 to the Northwest Louisiana Air Service Task Force to retain C4 air.
Sorry, dear.
Been moved by Commissioner Baker, seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Thibodeau?
I guess the only thing that bothers me about this is, with the airport, we have a director and a staff, we have an airport board, then we have a task force that the mayor set up to try to figure out why we're not getting as many customers in there as we think we should. And now, the task force wants to give that same thing to a consultant. So it seems like everybody's just passing it on down. Why do we have a task force if we need consultants? Why do we have an airport board if we're going to have a task force and consultants? So why do we have a director and a staff? It just seems like to me that this is just, I think very seldom do you get much accomplished when you just keep passing it to somebody else. I think most people who are familiar with the Shreveport area might be able to tell you it's just a supply and demand problem. And I guess there are some things that maybe we can do to encourage people to fly and to encourage more airlines to come in. But that, to me, that's the job of the board, the director, and the staff of the airport. And I don't see the $5,000, although it's not a great deal of money, I just don't see it as being worth giving them that money. I just, that's how I feel about it. I think we got too many people maybe that aren't doing their jobs, and we just keep passing it down to somebody else. So I may be wrong, don't vote for it, but that's the way I feel about it.
Thank you, Commissioner Thibodeau. Commissioner Epperson.
Let's see, we just voted basically for a consultant to help us out on the jail study, I think. But anyway, I think it's good that we put something on the table here. And I think what this does, I think it should heighten our interest and involvement on doing what we can, not only by contributing the amount to this fund, but however putting some more stringent input as to what happened there. So I think this will make us a player at the table there, so therefore I support this measure.
Commissioner Baker?
I agree with Commissioner Epperson and also Commissioner Thibodeau. Sometimes it takes a line of people to do some different tasks and do some different researches, and maybe even have some different ideas to bring to the table. And the last experience I had with our airlines, I'm willing to support whatever it takes to help us to get an improvement. That's one of our downfalls with major industries and businesses coming to Shreveport, because of the fact that our airline services is so bad. As a matter of fact, the last company I worked for moved our corporate office to Plano because of the fact that we had bad airline services. So, I mean, I'm willing to support it and support whatever it takes for us to get an improvement with our airline services. Sometimes it takes this amount of committees or boards or even this amount of ideas to figure out what's really our problem and help us to get it fixed. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker. Commissioner Dominic.
Mr. Wilson, could you maybe get something in writing from the task force, just indicating exactly what this study, their intentions for this study to come up with, and how long it's going to take, and how many people are getting involved, or entities? I know those are Parish, City of Shreveport, and Bossier. I don't know if anybody else is or not, but just want something in writing if we could get that. I don't know, maybe we got something the other day, but Commissioner Lynch is on that task force. I know, but I guess if you could ask her, just let's get something in writing, because I know she spoke about it the other day at a workshop, and Commissioner Thibodeau brings up some fairly good points. We just need to, I think, have some more detail and find out exactly what this plan will curtail. Commissioner Epperson brings up a good point. We just did a study, and studies can be good. We just did one for the jail side. But, you know, we had someone give a presentation, knew what we were getting into, so something like that, a little bit more detail would help. We got plenty of time, because this will be introduced at our next meeting.
Okay, so I will. Thank you, Commissioner Dominic. Commissioner Cox.
You know, we have the movie industry that has actually come back to us, so we need to fulfill their needs as well. We need to look at industry that is around this country, looking at new areas to grow in, and that's another reason why you can have these groups in place, and they can look at a glass of water so long, and they don't know how to look at it, and bring somebody in that's fresh, take the information that they've done, and look at it from another angle. So if 5,000 is going to give us that ability, and we have people from around Northwest Louisiana willing to chip in $5,000 for a study, I say more power to it. Let's do it, simply because I know for a fact people drive to Ellick and fly out of Ellick or East Texas instead of flying out of Shreveport and save $300 or $400. That's a major issue. So we need to figure out what we have to do to help that, because it not only helps Shreveport, Bossier, but it helps Caddo. And that's what we're here for. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Cox. Anyone else? I'm going to support this measure. Let me start by saying I was asked by the mayor to serve on the task force, and due to everything else going on, I asked Commissioner Lynch to serve in my place. I just truly do not have the time. I agree with some of the comments that Mr. Epperson made. Before the Shreveport Airport and the Air Authority is strictly under the purview of the city and the mayor, and they've had problems. As Mr. Thibodeau mentioned, a lot of it has to do with competition and need. But in my study and what I'm hearing and what I've heard from some members is, that is true. It's a supply and demand market. But on the other hand, the airlines that are here, let's just kind of say, hold us hostage. We try to bring in a discount carrier. One of them, for example, says, well, we'll pull out. To me, that's almost restraint of trade. It's certainly a threat. Those things go on. That concerns me very much. As Mr. Cox indicated, not just the movie industry, key to Barksdale's new mission with the Global Strike Command and the tenants moving into the Cyber Innovation Center and the other tenants, and I'm talking about Boeing and McDonnell Douglas and Intel and these type of people are going to come to the new complex they're building in Bossier. They need air service. They need air service from the West Coast here directly. We can't have that or get that if our current carriers will not allow that service. And we can't go after someone to provide that service if we're threatened by the people who are here doing business with us. Now, I'm not going to throw rocks at anybody, but I just think we've got the airport management administration that's been there a long time, and they do what they have to. But there's a time when you have to get mean when you're threatened, and we're being threatened. This is something we must do. Now, the city has decided it can't do it on its own, so it's asked Bossier City, Bossier Parish, and Parish of Caddo to combine with them in a team effort to help this region out. As Mr. Epperson said, we have a seat at the table now. I think this is a modest investment. It's a wise investment, because once this task force is met, and I know some of the members on the task force, one of them happens to be a lady who's an individual who was a legal counsel for one of the airlines for 20 years. She brings a unique perspective as to how they think, on the inside. But since the mayor has asked and opened the doors and asked Bossier City and the Parish of Caddo to partner with them, once this task force has met and all the information is in, as far as I'm concerned, and as long as I'm president of this parish, we're not going to go away. They're not going to tell us, thank you, we've got the information. They've given us a seat at the table. We're going to eat, and we're not going to go until something's happened out there. So they've opened the box, they've invited us in, we're not going anywhere. So it's a good thing. And if that's what it takes, and we can keep the heat on them now. We've been asking to the game, and they're going to boot us out. I don't think they'll boot us out. But I'm like Mr. Thibodeau. You're frustrated that you have to go to these meetings, but we do. It's in our best interest, and I believe something's good is going to come out of it. And I commend the mayor for realizing that maybe their efforts have been limited and they need some more political help. So I'm going to support this. Anyone else? Please vote on the motion. That passes. All right, being no further business, this meeting is recessed until 3 o'clock at our next meeting date. Thank you.
That's it, right?